good afternoon everyone. My name is Roman and this channel is Roman Rides. I'm going to share another review and a quick test drive of the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser 1958. This is the base grade among two others. So I'm going to share my impressions. I'm going to share how it drives on pavement, on rough roads, some imperfections, and see what would you feel, whether you want to buy this vehicle, if you consider buying this vehicle over Lexus maybe GX 550. So let's go, and big thanks to Courtesy Toyota here in Brandon for letting me test drive this car. So we are currently located in Brandon, Toyota Courtesy, and this is 2024 1958 modification. So first of all, I'm going to spend more time on actually testing this vehicle rather than telling just information about this vehicle. But anyways, I'm going to share some information, some basics about this vehicle. So probably you might have seen already a lot of videos on YouTube about this vehicle. What I'm going to share my personal opinion, my personal feelings and impressions and driving impressions about this vehicle. First of all, even though it's a base trim, still it gets all the bells and whistles except for the anti-roll bar, which you can engage or disengage. For example, you can make it firmer or you can lose that. So this option is not available on this specific trim. Other two trims, which is just Land Cruiser and First Edition, they get that option so that you can make this anti-roll bar loose or make it firmer for on-pavement driving. For example, if you're going to go off-road with this vehicle, on those two higher trims, you can make that anti-roll bar a bit loose in order to increase articulation of front axles respectively. So on the exterior side, I would like to say that first of all, this is where you get this round shaped LED lights. In other grades, you can see you have rectangular lights. So this is just this is actually the first, probably it's a First Edition. It looks like the First Edition, but anyways, just a regular Toyota Land Cruiser and First Edition, they look not the same. This second grade looks a bit different from the front perspective because of that rectangular lights. And the First Edition actually also comes with round-shaped LED lights. So in terms of ground clearance, 220 millimeters of ground clearance. In terms of the engine specs, this is 2.4 turbocharged, producing 328 horsepower, and it's got so-called iForce Max. So what it means, it's not here for fuel efficiency, it's here for more torque, for more power, what means that you have a sandwich electric motor located in the transmission, 8-speed transmission housing, which is connected to the engine, 2.4 turbocharged. So it's not like a Prius, for example, right? It's done for power, for torque, and to mitigate some of the turbo lag, which is obviously a trait of most turbocharged vehicles here. So I really like how this vehicle looks. It looks rugged, it looks boxy, it looks really great. You have optional knitted tires here. It's 265 by 65 18-inch wheel tires. They are optional, they're not the base trim, they're not the base equipment. You have black door handles, you have black mirror caps. You don't have any roof rails, unfortunately, but those versions, that two higher trims, they do have roof rails. Also, you don't have any leatherettes or leather seats. These are just cloth seats, but it's very thick. So it's very thick. I really like that. No power seats, neither for passenger nor for the driver. You don't have any sunshades in the back as well, but this is a 3-zone climate control, which is another benefit of this vehicle. And obviously the sitting position is a bit higher because this is a body on frame. No sunshades here. You have hard touch plastic here in the back, and you have the same hard touch plastic here in the front. Your glove box compartment, so it's damp but not felt. You have a heated steering wheel, heated seats, a multi-touch steering wheel. You have Toyota Safety System 3.0. It's active lane departure assist. It's adaptive cruise control, and it's emergency braking. So, and also it's blind spot monitoring. So I think it's packed well, just under $60,000. Now I think it's time to take it for a quick spin, and then I sum this video up. Let's take it for a quick ride. 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser 1958. This is the base trim available out of 3 trims. So what is 1958? So 1958 means, as I have mentioned already, so you might have seen that, this is the base grade of this vehicle, which means you still get the body on frame, you still get the same powertrain, which is 2.4 turbocharged plus electric motor. So it's kind of a sandwich. It's housed in the same housing as transmission, 8-speed transmission. So you have 328 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, which is a lot. So torque-wise, this is very capable vehicle for sure. Let me take it here. But what about driving on pavement? So driving this vehicle on pavement, especially through rough surfaces and road imperfections. For example, here we have a lot of potholes. Of course, they're light, they're not super huge, but still you don't feel anything. So you don't feel anything on the steering wheel. Steering wheel is just devoid of any feelings, of any information, you know. So you don't feel any feedback, right? For example, if I was talking about a sports car, definitely that would be a drawback, but not in this case. In this case, actually, that's an advantage of these vehicles because you just don't feel any imperfections. You can go over any road surfaces, regardless of the condition of the road. You won't feel anything because this vehicle is super soft. It feels super boaty. It rocks and pitches from side to side, and this is expected, obviously, because this is a body-on-frame vehicle, right? I don't expect this vehicle to behave as a sports car with a lot of information on the steering wheel. So, for example, right now, yeah, it's very, very comfortable vehicle, super comfortable. Let's go here. And obviously it's not for hard acceleration. I think you won't buy this vehicle for hard acceleration. You have side road signs recognition. But one drawback that I have noticed here is that you definitely feel this upshifts and downshift. So the vehicle and transmission specifically is not devoid of any jerkiness feelings. What I mean by that is that, for example, when you start driving, let's come to a stop. So you start driving. And then you realize you definitely feel this upshifts from the first to the second, from the second to the third, and up to the fourth gear. You feel that upshifts and sometimes downshifts. So it's not the best vehicle in terms of refinement. If you consider this one over Lexus GX550, first of all, Lexus GX550 is gas-only model. It doesn't come with any sort of hybrid situation in that. So it's just 3.4 turbocharged. It's 10-speed automatic versus this one 8-speed automatic, 2.4 turbocharged. But in terms of torque, it's on par with Lexus because it's got this electric motor and the battery in the back. This is where all this torque are coming. So it's very torquey. It eats everything, whatever, regardless if you live here in Florida, if you live in Illinois, Chicago area, for example. It doesn't matter because this suspension will eat everything. But I have to admit that it's got this optional tires, which is Nitto tires all-terrain. It's not the standard tires. But I think even though it's not the standard tires, still I can feel the philosophy behind building that suspension. So it's very comfortable anyways. You don't feel a lot, as I mentioned. And if you're going to primarily use it in the city limits, then I think you will appreciate, especially in a city with bad roads, you will appreciate definitely how smooth this vehicle, going over bumps, and you don't have this double feeling, which is a trait of body-on-frame cars. What I mean by that is that when you go over a bump, first you have this body on frame, the frame shakiness, right? So you feel this shake or body rock or pitch first, and then you feel the body itself, body on frame. So first goes the frame, second goes the body on frame. So this double shakiness feeling. This vehicle, actually, you only feel like one moment when that happens, obviously, right? So it's very interesting because I'm comparing this vehicle to some trucks, some pickup trucks specifically, for example, and this is where I can tell definitely that you don't have this double shakiness feeling, even though this is still body-on-frame vehicle. So Toyota, I think they did a good job on that. Again, going over rain gutters. I mean, it's extremely comfortable. Acceleration is nice. 40, 50, yeah, 50. We are obeying the speed limit here, so I'm not gonna try accelerating too much. It's crazy driver. I'm using my turn signal. He's not using his turn signal, and he's complaining about something, but let's forget about that. So on pavement, again, this is Tampa Bay area. It's Brandon, courtesy of Toyota Courtesy. Thank you for letting me drive this car, where I can have and share my impressions on that. So on pavement driving, this vehicle, when it's going, definitely, because if we forget about this kind of jerkiness in the transmission situation, when you are going already, when you're already driving, you don't feel any jerkiness. You don't feel any upshift, downshift. This only happens with the first 3 or 4 gears, unfortunately. But as soon as you get used to that, you just completely forget about that, and this is how you perceive the vehicle, and this is just the way it operates, the way it drives. So on pavement driving, it's super smooth and comfortable once again, but you still feel this boatiness in suspension, definitely. Let's go. Yeah, around 4, maybe 5th gear, you no longer feel the jerkiness. So other than that, I think it's a great vehicle on pavement road. Definitely it's not that quiet compared to Lexus GX 550, because Lexus GX 550 has double pane acoustic glass, which does a good job compared to that. So yeah, overall my driving impressions, they are, I would say, positive, mostly positive. So definitely if you want to drive this vehicle, if you want to buy this vehicle, I would recommend testing it first, how it behaves, especially during acceleration, deceleration. Maybe take it to imperfections on the road, wherever you can, and this is how you can make a decision on whether you need to buy this vehicle or not. Definitely I would buy it. If I'm a Toyota fan, definitely I would buy this vehicle, especially considering its price. The starting price is less than what GX 550 costs. Yeah, once again, small imperfection here. Yeah, it feels very, very comfortable, especially compared to regular unibody competitors, right? For this money. All right, after testing this vehicle, I think it's time to sum it up. And what I'd like to say is that this vehicle, especially when driving on pavement, it feels boaty, sometimes even too boaty. But this is a trade-off. You have to make the trade-off, because otherwise you have a capable off-road vehicle which you can take off-road, no problem, especially with this needed tires. So you can install that, or you can just buy completely basic versions and install that later on your own. There are a lot of aftermarket parts. There is a Facebook group called 2024 Plus Toyota Land Cruiser group, which you can find a lot of people who bought this vehicle, so you can share, you can grab some information from these sources as well. But personally, to me, you feel one of the drawbacks, you feel this jerkiness, especially from going from the first to the second to the third gear. As soon as you're already going, you're driving, so you don't feel that too much. But aside from that, this is a very nice and capable vehicle. You don't feel a lot of imperfections. You don't feel anything. The steering wheel is super numb, so you don't have a lot of feedback information coming to the steering wheel, which is a huge advantage over other unibody vehicles, for example. So if you like this boaty style vehicle, which eats up all the potholes, expansion joints, and all that stuff, and you don't want to care about suspension repairs, so I think this is exactly the vehicle that you should consider buying. But if you're considering like if you want a more luxury, if you want a more luxurious interior, probably Lexus GX 550 would be a better proposition over this, especially considering overlapping prices between different grades of these cars. Overall, all in all, I think this is a great vehicle. Not that quite as Lexus GX as well, but I think it's nice. There are some questions to the powertrain and drivetrain of this vehicle, but I think in a year or two, probably Toyota will figure that out and will upgrade the software, which is in charge of this communication between transmission, electric motor, and the battery. And once again, the battery here and the whole hybrid system here, it's not for fuel efficiency, it's for power, for torque, for instant delivery of power and torque. Other than that, I think it's a nice vehicle. It's very comfortable, and it's yeah, for everyday life, regardless of road condition, regardless of weather. You always have full-time all-wheel drive, which is a benefit over Toyota Tacoma, for example, or Toyota Tundra. So I think that's about it. Again, thanks to Courtesy Toyota for letting me know that this vehicle was available so that I can take it for a test drive. If you're interested in these vehicles, they have a lot of these vehicles available, different grades, 1950e, Toyota Land Cruiser, and First Edition. So yeah, I will leave the contact information, and you can call them up and as well as find out if this vehicle is available or not. And a lot of other vehicles like new Camry, new Tacoma, and a lot of more vehicles. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.